Hello. In this quick video, I'm going to demonstrate how you can test APIs that have been deployed in SAP BTP Integration Suite using the Tricentis API Testing Cloud solution. To start with, I have created a series of APIs. Most of these are iFlows, and I've built them inside of the Integration Suite against apps that I'm developing. Here's a very basic one. And I can go ahead and take a look at my artifact, and essentially what's going to happen in this one is that a message is going to come in, there's a business process that's going to take place, and then an OData response is going to come back out. And I want to be able to validate that. So I only need a couple of pieces of information in order to get started. Specifically, in this case, I need to know the endpoint to the service, and I also need to know some of the basic authorization information. If I were to then take myself to the API Testing Cloud solution for Tricentis, I could then navigate over to the API Playground, which is a top-level component that allows me to interact with APIs, whether they be SAP or non-SAP. And what I've done is I've gone ahead and actually created a request against that OData endpoint and supplied the proper authorization as required. And so now I'm going to go ahead and send a request against the system. Now, this is a manual verification of the endpoint, and I see that a response is coming back with a 200 OK. But if I were to go ahead and look in my verifications, I would see that actually one of them has failed. Verifications can be applied to anything in a API message, be it the request, response payload, or even the timing. In this case, I see that I have created a verification and actually made a mistake in my expected. I expected San Francisco, and I got San Francisco. That's deliberate just to show the test failing. Now, if I wanted to add this to an automated testing strategy, I could simply say create test case, or if I wanted to convert it to a mock service, I would say create simulation. In this case, I want to create an API test that I can run in automation on a scheduled basis. And so by clicking that button, a few things happen. One, I see my manual test case now built as an automated test case, and all the relevant information has been automatically supplied. What's powering this under the hood is a module. A module is a reusable template for my API message that I could use in other API test cases where I wanted to invoke similar behavior on this API. I can see to which test cases it is associated with, make modifications to the module, and then update the relevant test cases. I'm going to go back to the test case. Assuming that I'm happy with everything and I've loaded in either the static data here or data from my test data engine, I'm ready to verify this test run or add it to a playlist. A playlist allows me to add multiple test cases together. In this case, I'm adding test cases for my RFC endpoints, OData, BTP, and even asynchronous tests like Kafka. I can then run those either on my personal agent here on my machine, run it in the cloud, or I can schedule a run so that it executes on a periodic basis. My agent will start up here. It will delegate the execution to that component, whether that's here again on my machine or natively inside of the BTP architecture. And from that, I'll get my test results back. We'll speed this part up. I see now that all of my tests have executed. Most of them have succeeded. I have one that failed. And I can check in on those test results by navigating to the run. From here, I'll be able to not only see the details of the test execution, but exactly what took place. In this case, it looks like I had a rate policy that was exceeded. I can then get detailed logging information on that, as well as understanding which test executed and download any test results that I need. And through this, I have the ability to go from an API that I'm developing inside of the integration suite and create a continuous test that can run inside of the Tricentis platform.